Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. This is a B1 level science lesson and today we're going to be talking about making observations. So what does it mean to observe and why is this important in science? And you can take a look at these pictures and see if you can figure out what the people are observing. And what tools can we use to make observations? So you're going to match each piece of equipment with its name. So here he's using a magnifying glass. She is using binoculars. This person is using a microscope. And he is using a telescope. And then we use our senses to make our observations. So match each body part with the sense that it has. So the nose is matched with smell, the eye with sight, the hand with touch, the ear with hearing, and the mouth with taste. So what language can we use to describe each of these senses? So it looks would go with sight, it smells with smell, it tastes with taste, it feels with touch, and it sounds with sound. So there are different ways to describe things using our senses. So we can say it looks, smells, tastes, feels, sounds, plus an adjective. And adjectives are words that describe things. So it looks round or it appears round, it smells bad, it tastes sweet, it feels soft, or it sounds loud. You can also say it looks, smells, tastes, feels, sounds like a, and then the noun. Nouns are things. And if the noun is not countable, then you don't need to use a or an. So it looks like metal, it looks like a chemical, it looks like chocolate, it feels like, or sorry, it tastes like chocolate, it smells like a chemical. Sorry, let me start that again. It looks like a metal, it looks like metal, it smells like a chemical, it tastes like chocolate, it feels like a sponge, and it sounds like a bird. So metal and chocolate are non-count nouns, so we don't use the a or the and, but chemical, sponge, and bird are all countable, so we have to use a for those. So what things can you observe and what adjectives can you can you use to describe each of these things? So small would be size, round is shape, fast would be movement, slow, movement, salty is taste, heavy is weight, sour would be taste, quiet would be sound, plastic would be material, hard would be texture, probably texture. Red would be color, medium, size, square, shape. Glass would be material. Quick would be movement. Loud is sound. Sweet is taste. Rectangular is shape. Blue is color. Rough is texture. Soft would be texture. Bright would be color, I would say. Light could be weight or color. Light in the sense that it doesn't weigh very much, or color like a light blue or a light pink. Uh, Again, soft material or texture. Metal would be material. Smooth texture. Bitter taste, and yellow color. Okay, and there are some phrases that we use when we observe. So it appears yellow when you look at it with the microscope. It looks like there are two cells on the slide. I notice the nucleus is larger in this cell than in the other cell, and the cell seems to get larger when salt is added. So practice making some observations using these photos and the phrases below. So maybe I can see that the car rolls faster on a glass surface. So go ahead and try some of making sentences using the pictures and some of these phrases. All right, so then describe one of the toads from the photo. Uh, and so there are different ones, and you can practice describing them by size, shape, color, texture, um, those types of things. All right, so now match the beginning of the observation with the correct ending. And you can pause the video, try that on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. Here's some vocabulary. This is a stem. This is a microscope slide, a scale, a speaker, and pH. All right, so number one, the liquid in a beaker goes with D, is clear and has a slightly yellow color. The surface of the rock, B, is rough with small bumps. The sound from the speaker, H, is loud and has a high pitched tone. The stem of the plant is G, green, and has a diameter of approximately 5 millimeters. The temperature of the water is A, is 25 degrees Celsius as measured by the thermometer. The object is C, has a mass of 10 grams as measured by the scale. The microscopic slide goes with E, contains many small circular cells. And the pH of the solution is F, is 7, which means that it is neutral. Now, comparing two things. So, scientists use comparisons to describe the similarities and differences between two or more things. So, if you have a word with one syllable, you make it comparative by adding ER. So, smaller, bigger, brighter. Words that have two or more syllables, you have to use more. More smooth, more acidic. Actually, this one isn't right. This would be smoother. I'm not sure why they put smooth over here because you could say smoother. Words that end in Y, you have to drop the Y and add IER, so heavier. So a lemon is more acidic than a tomato, and a cube with a high density is heavier than a cube with a low density. So create some sentences using the comparative form of the adjective. So the chemical reactions occurred much faster at the higher temperature than at the lower temperature. The plant near the window grew to be taller than the plant that was in the dark room. The melting point of iron is higher than the melting point of copper. The mass of the ball filled with sand is heavier than the ball filled with water, and the density of water is lower than the density of iron. And then we have some irregular comparatives. So we have good, better, and best, bad, worse, worst, far, farther, farthest. So the results of the experiment were better than expected. The experiment conducted with a control group produced more accurate results compared to the one without a controlled group. The metal object with a smoother surface had less friction than the other one. The car travels farther on the surface with less friction. And the concept of relativity can be more difficult to understand than Newton's other laws. More ways to compare. So there are some sentences that can be used to compare. So object A is similar to object B because both, and then, or you can contrast, object A is different from object B because one has blank and the other doesn't have blank. So we could say an ant is similar to a termite because both have antennae. Um, but an ant is different from a termite because one has eyes and the other doesn't. Um, an ant is different from a termite in that because one has 3 body segments and the other has 2 body segments. And an ant is different from a termite because one has a thin center of body and one has no thin waist. So now practice finding 6 differences between these two images. And can you identify the animal footprints and how do you know? So you can go ahead and try that on your own. And that brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, share. And if you have any questions, please leave those for me in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye.